Misha Houston, and I'm here to do my review of the haves and the have nots. Tonight's episode is entitled The Lion, and this episode was so fraught. It was heavy with emotion and grief and anger. It was just such, such a heavy, intense episode. But even though it was very intense, it only felt like the episode was half done. I feel like it's just the first part of a two-part series. So I have to say that I really, really enjoyed the episode very much. I appreciated it. It was very intense, very revealing, but it only kind of felt like it was just part of, the first part of an episode and not the whole episode itself. I think we're going to see the second half next week, and I think it's going to be very, very good. The theme of the episode that I found in it was people were hurting other people to make themselves feel better and to make themselves be better. A lot of people were doing this in this episode. Hanna has been doing it to Candace for many years. Jeffrey was was having it being done to by Wyatt and Justin. Jim was doing it to Sarah Duffy. The whole 9 yards. A lot of people were doing this, making themselves feel better by hurting other people. But you can't really make yourself be happy by hurting everyone else. It's just a temporary fix, and that's what the people in this episode have to learn. Now, as I said before, the name of the episode is entitled The Lion, and here we go. The first group of people we go to is Hanna, Candace, Benny, and the Trick. Hanna tells everyone in the room that the Trick is Candace's father. Everyone is shocked and asks if it is true. The Trick immediately leaves. Hanna asks, "Were you going to sleep with him?" And Candace says yes. Hanna admits to lying about the Trick being Candace's father, but said that it could have been. He could have been any one of these men that she brings in here. And Hanna wants her to think about that the next time she brings a man in there and lays with him. Hanna thinks that she is sleeping with these men that she doesn't know. And Candace brings up Hanna not knowing who Candace's father is. And Hanna confirms it. Candace wants Hanna to think about her own life and calls her a whore and thinks that she knows a whore when she sees one. Now, Hanna says she was never a whore, but Candace doesn't think so. Candace just wants her to leave, and Benny says that we're all going to leave. He is trying to be patient with Candace, but refuses to let her stay there turning tricks. He goes so far as to drag her out of the room. Hanna and Candace want Benny to just let her go. Eventually he does. Candace accuses them of ruining her night, but Hanna says we were only here in regards to Quincy Jr.'s letter. Hanna asks, "What is wrong with you for letting these men come in here and do these things to you?" Candace thinks Hanna is no saint and brings up the fact that Hanna doesn't know who Candace's father is. She's brought it up twice. Hanna asks, "Does it really hurt you so much not knowing?" Which is kind of a stupid question in my opinion. I mean, every kid wants to know where they came from and who they were born to. I mean, I just thought that was really a stupid question for her to ask. And it's really, naive of her to think that Candace wouldn't want to know who her parents are and who her parents are and what her lineage is. I mean, it's just really a stupid question on her part. But Hanna is unsure that it hurts Candace not knowing the truth, but Candace wants to know the truth. Hanna then confesses that Candace's father was a rapist. Hanna was a young woman. childless and free, hanging out at the club with her friends. After the club shut down around 3 a.m., she was walking home, and there was a man standing in the middle of the street. And he said, "Hey, pretty lady, you all right?" Hannah speaks back to him and says, "I'm good." But the man frightened her. And it would frighten me too. I mean, so late at night and some dude standing in my way with a strange, weird look on his face. Yeah, I would be freaked out too. She started to walk a little bit faster and glanced back to see if the man was following her, which he wasn't at the time. She made it to her porch, then the man was coming towards her. She couldn't find her key and her aunt wasn't home. So Hannah crouched on her porch for 2 hours and waited until her aunt came home. She saw the man pass by, but she didn't know which way he went. She just hid on her porch. Eventually, her aunt came home and passed out on the couch high. Then Hannah went on to her bedroom and she locked the doors and turned off the lights. She thought that she was safe now. But then she woke up some time later with the man from the street on top of her with her hands around her throat, raping her. He threatened her, saying, "If you scream, I'll kill you." Hannah was afraid for her life, so she laid there and suffered the abuse and screamed on the inside. All she could see was the man's eyes and his nose. Candace, being, the daughter of the man, has his facial features. She has his eyes and his nose. And she can remember his tattoo, a lion staring back at her. Then, sometime later, her aunt started to notice the change in Hannah. And in time, Hannah told her aunt what happened. After that, her aunt, who had been passed out the entire time, started to go to the 12-step program and join church. Hannah also joined church as well, and in church she found peace of mind and peace of heart. It made her feel better to go to church. Then, a short time later, she found out that she was pregnant with the man's baby. Then she screams at Candace, saying that "I never wanted you. I did not want you. I did not want a raped baby. I wanted an abortion." But her aunt, who had become an active member in the church, didn't want an abortion for Hannah. She basically blackmailed Hannah, saying that "if you kill this baby, I'm going to have to put you out of my house." Hannah, decided to keep the baby, and she felt lost and scared and alone. She started to hop from man to man even while she was pregnant, making mistake after mistake after mistake. And then one day she felt Candace kicking in her womb, and she realized that she loved the baby after all. And when the baby was born, Candace was beautiful. Candace had his eyes and his nose, but she didn't see the darkness in Candace's eyes when she was a baby that she saw in her attackers. She was innocent and pure. But even after Candace was born, Hannah still felt lost. She looked for herself in these men and she hopped from man to man to man. And Candace saw her behavior, and the light in Candace's eyes got dimmer. Then she found out that Candace was molested. And after she found that out, Hannah went back to church. It was there and then when she realized that she had found herself again. She had found her joy and her healing, and her strength had came back. She apologizes to Candace and wishes that she was nicer to her and treated her better, but she was only human, and she can only see the daughter of the man who raped her. She wishes that she can one day see the light come back in her eyes again. Candace says that it was a nice story, but she doesn't believe most of it. Only the part that Hannah treated Candace like hell. Hannah thinks that she shouldn't have told her, but Candace just wants them both to leave. Then Hannah sits down, takes off her shoes, pat them together to kick the dust off of them. And then she says, Matthew chapter 10, verse 14. She says, come on, Benny, and leaves. Candace, after she leaves, breaks down and sobs into a pillow. Now, I'm going to read from the Bible. The book is Matthew from the New Testament. The chapter is chapter 10, and the verse is verse 14. And whosoever shall not receive you, nor hear your words, when ye depart out of the house or city, shake off the dust of your feet. Now, I read this book, and it's basically Jesus appointing his 12 disciples. He gave the 12 disciples power to see through unclean spirits and cast them out, and to heal all manners of sickness and disease. The 12 disciples are Simon, who is also called Peter, Andrew, his brother, James, son of Zebedee, John and his brother, Philip, Bartholomew, Thomas, Matthew, James, the son of Alphaeus, Labius, Thaddeus, Simon the Canaanite, and Judas Iscariot, Judas, the betrayer of Christ. Now, Christ, sent his disciples out into the world and basically told them to go out and speak to the people about Jesus and the time of the kingdom of heaven. Uh, they He asked them to heal the sick and to cleanse the lepers, to raise the dead, to cast out devils, and pretty much to go out into the world and speak about the glory of God and Jesus Christ. And they all went into the cities and talked to people, went into the land of Sodom and Gomorrah, went into other places. And that verse is pretty much saying that if you tell someone the truth about what's going on, don't worry about it. You've done your job, you've told the truth, and all you're supposed to do is, shake the dust off of your shoes and keep on moving, which is pretty much what Hannah did. She's told the truth about what happened to her as a young woman, but Candace, did not believe her. So basically, the point of her taking off her shoes and kicking the dust off of her shoes is just pretty much saying, I've told the truth. I've done my part. I've told you everything that you need to know, and I'm moving on. And that's pretty much what Hannah has done. Now, as I said before, the theme of the episode was people hurting other people to make themselves feel better. And that is what Candace's father did to Hannah. And in a way, it's kind of what Hannah is doing to Candace now. She's reminded of the rape every time she sees Candace, and it really explains a lot. I mean, Hannah has always, berated Candace and put her down, and now we finally know the true reason. In the first episode, the very first episode of The Haves and the Have Nots, Hannah says that Candace was just like her father. Well, I mean, I didn't even know, what an insult that was until I figured it out. I mean, she's practically called Candace a person who is no better than a rapist. So, I mean, this is really, really a big thing. This is a really, really huge revelation. And, this was just pretty much the pearl of the episode right here in the beginning. It went on for like 16 minutes. And it was a really, really huge scene, a really, really huge scene. And it was just such a revelation. I mean, I was completely shocked at what I heard. I knew that Hannah, had no love for Candace, but now I really understand why. And there was also a part when she said, um, I didn't want you. I never wanted you. And as I was watching that, it really had no effect on me. But as I was, sitting here writing up my notes, it was just so hard to write. And it was just a huge, huge revelation. I mean, I can't believe what I heard. I mean, it was just a triumph for Tyler Perry in his writing. I mean, it just moved me. The whole scene just moved me. And I mean, I wouldn't even know what to say about that. I'm glad that it wasn't me in that position, because I wouldn't even know what to say or what to do about something like that. And one more thing about Hannah. She says that after Candace was molested, she found her strength. And I think that's, what's going on with Hannah. She needs to put Candace down in order for her to feel strong. When Candace was molested at 5 years old, it made her go back to church, and it made her find her healing and her joy. I mean, she's finding joy in that. She found joy and healing in Candace's molestation. I mean, it's always been like that. Hannah needs to put Candace down in order for herself to feel better. And if Candace, decided to get her life together, then Hannah couldn't use Candace as an excuse anymore. She wouldn't have anything to say. She needs to put Candace down, and Candace gives her many reasons to keep putting, her down. So for if there is a message that I have for Candace, I'm saying, Candace, get your life together. Stop giving Hannah a reason to keep insulting you and keep berating you and keep harassing you. Get yourself together, Candace. That's my message to her. Now, the next group of people we go to is David, the desk sergeant, and a couple of women. A short scene, a short filler scene. David arrives at the police station to see Jeffrey. The desk sergeant tries to tell him that visiting hours are on certain days, but David says that he is Jeffrey's attorney. The sergeant says he needs to make a call to the DA's office. He gets no reply and tells David to wait. It shouldn't take that long. David sits down to wait in the middle of two women. One of the women starts rambling on about how she shot someone, and the other one just laughs. It was just a really silly, stupid little scene. Just a filler scene. No big deal. Now, the next group of people we go to is Jim and Sarah Duffy. Sarah calls on Jim, trying to get out of their meeting tomorrow. She begs him and says that she is in a different position now, but he teases her about her being in different positions and browbeats and blackmails her into coming to the meeting. She says that she is calling to appeal to his moral sense, but he reminds her that he has none. She tries to evade him, but he quips, "Be prepared to talk into a pillow." Now, I want to talk a little bit about Jim. Jim is nothing but a floppy-eared mule, desperate for the world not to see how irrelevant and powerless he has become. He is a useless character to me. It really shows how desperate he is. He either has to sleep with a prostitute, a woman he has to pay, or then he has to browbeat some woman into sleeping with him, or or something along that lines. I mean, it's pathetic. It's really, really, really pathetic. It really showed how how useless he is. Everyone says that Wyatt is a useless character, but I don't think so. Jim is the useless character. He is just he's pathetic, and it really showed how desperate and irrelevant he was. He's nothing but a floppy-eared mule. Now, the next group of people we go to is Derek, Katheryn, Benny, and Hanna. They go back home, and Hanna says that she just wants to go to sleep. Benny sees a letter from Derek and reads it aloud, and Hanna says that it is the handyman who fixed the sink, and she notes that he also washed the dishes. She says that she will call him to thank him later on. Benny approaches the subject on what was said in Candace's hotel room. He believes her and believes it to be true. She says that it happened a long time ago and just wants to move on. But she really hasn't moved on from that. I don't think any woman could ever move on from something like that. Benny asks, "Did you ever seek any counseling?" He says that he's going on back into business with Mitch. He's trying to get a truck, and then he wants for her to seek some kind of, professional help, that she needs to be counseled. Benny sees that she is in a lot of pain, and she says that she doesn't want him to spend his hard-earned money, but she eventually agrees to it. They trade "I love you," and then Benny goes out, to speak to Mitch. Then Hanna calls Derek. She thanks him for the sink and the dishes. She asks about the payment, but he says that it is under warranty. Then he asks her out to coffee. She, realizes that he is asking her on a date, and she asks him why. Derek says that he thinks that she is a nice lady, and that she was down in her spirits and wanted to make her smile. Hanna thanks him for that, but she politely declines. She tells him bluntly that she won't be calling and that she's going through a lot right now. Derek says that he knows that she is going through a lot and wondered if she would appreciate some good company. She politely but firmly turns him down and thanks him for the sink and the dishes, and they hang up. Afterwards, Derek, is in the kitchen with Katheryn, who is very excited. She wants to know, will Hanna go out with him? Derek, realizes that Kate was eavesdropping, and he tells her that Hanna turned him down. Katheryn, wants to play matchmaker, but Derek, doesn't want her to. He just wants her to stay out of it. Katheryn agrees to stay out of it for now. Derek notes that Hanna sounded very unhappy, and Katheryn wants to go and check on her, but he doesn't want Kate to give him away. The refrigerator, still is broken, and Derek goes back to work trying to fix it. I mean, I understand, what's going on with Katheryn. I appreciate her sentiment, but I mean, Hannah's son just died. It's really not the right time for any kind of relationship. I mean, she's grieving her son, she's dealing with Candace and Benny, and it's just not the right time. I mean, I appreciate Katheryn for wanting, Hannah to have love in her life, and Hannah certainly needs love in her life, but it's just not the right time. I mean, I'm totally in agreement with Hannah for turning him down. It's just not the right time. She's just too hurt and too angry. It's not the right time for a relationship. Now, the next group of people we go to is Benny, Mitch, and Veronica. Outside, Benny talks to Mitch on the phone. He's coming to pick him up and ask him, "Are you sure you want to do this?" Benny says that he is in. Then Veronica calls. Veronica. He asks her about her well being, and she says that she is fine. and that they are keeping her under observation. She wants to tell him in person that she appreciates him for saving her life. Benny says that he's got to get a ride over there, and she says that she'll be there. So, she's pretty much trying to sink her claws into Benny again, and Benny, just can't resist a woman in need. So, we'll have to see what happens there. The next two people we go to is Candace and Gia. Gia, the new whore, stops by Candace's room, and Candace starts to sink her claws into Gia, saying that she is nothing but a bottom bitch and Candace is her new pimp. Gia tries to leave, and Candace threatens to beat her. Then Candace tears the front of Gia's dress open and examines her body and says that, oh, you'll make me a lot of money. Okay, she gives Erica's number and tells Gia to get some clothes from Erica, and Maria will fix her hair. Candace asks, how much do you charge? But Gia denies being a prostitute and tries to leave. Candace threatens her again and grabs her purse. She looks around in the purse and finds her ID. She is surprised that her name is Gia and says that you were born to be a whore. Gia wants her purse back, tries to grab for it, and Candace threatens her again. Candace says that she can protect her and she can make $10,000 a night, and that she may even have to blackmail them as well. Gia asks, why don't you do this mess yourself? But Candace says that I'm done with escorting and it's on to bigger and better things. Gia says that well, is pimping bigger and better things? And Candace says, yes, it is. Candace wants Gia to unlock her phone. And when Gia refuses, she slaps her. Gia eventually unlocks her phone, and Candace puts her number in her phone under the name of Candy Cane. Gia is only to work the bar Tuesdays and Fridays. She is to check in with Rocky, the bartender, and tells her to call Erica about what to do about her clothes and hair. And Candace then dismisses her. Candace is nothing but a pimp now, and she has become Warlock. She has become the new Warlock. And it's really, really pitiful to see. But as I said in the beginning, there was a theme running through this episode. And the theme of the episode was people hurting other people to make themselves feel and be better. And that is exactly what Candace is doing. Now, the next group of people we go to is David, the desk sergeant, Katheryn, and Jim. The desk sergeant refuses to let David see Jeffrey even after he has been sitting there the whole night. David then calls Jim to ask, does he know anyone in the DA's office? Jim lies to David, saying that he doesn't know anyone, but we all know that's a lie because he knows Sarah Duffy. David tells him that Jeffrey has been arrested for Quincy Maxwell's murder. Jim asks why would he be arrested for that, but then he realizes that this is all about Jeffrey being gay and Veronica not being able to deal with it. Jim refers him to Katheryn, but warns him not to say that you called me first because she may hold a grudge. He wants David to keep him apprised of the situation. Then David calls Katheryn and tells her all of what is going on. Katheryn thinks Veronica is as treacherous as a snake, but she will help him with his problem. Then Katheryn tells David about Veronica's car accident. David asks about her well-being, but Katheryn says who cares, and she agrees to help David. Pretty much he's finally found out what's happened to Jeffrey, and he's trying to get down there to see him. And I think in the preview it shows that David is finally going to speak with his son Jeffrey. Now, the next group of people and the last scene of the night, and one of my favorites, is Jeffrey, Justin, and Wyatt. Oh, I love Wyatt. I like Wyatt when he's sober. I don't want to see him on drugs anymore. I want to see a sober Wyatt. I like Wyatt like this. The scene starts off with Justin getting Jeffrey out of jail and dragging him into the interrogation room. He is visibly upset and does not uncuff him. He threatens to bash his face in. Then he throws the cell phone down and yells at him to look at it. Wyatt is calling, looking for Jeffrey, and Justin is very upset by it. He orders Jeffrey multiple times to answer the phone, but Jeffrey is in handcuffs. Justin then answers it himself, and Wyatt wonders where Jeffrey has been. Jeffrey says that he can't talk right now, but Wyatt wants pretty much to tell him that he wants the cop to stop calling him. Justin hears this and rails against Wyatt, wondering what's up and what's going on between the two of them. Then Wyatt starts to goad Justin, asking if Jeffrey and he are lovers. Justin wants to know what's it to him. Then Wyatt says that he and Jeffrey are lovers. This inflames Justin. Completely and totally inflames him and gets him all upset and riled up. And Jeffrey just wants Wyatt to tell the truth. Wyatt is sticking to his story and he's not hanging up. He is tired of Justin, and I'm tired of him too. Justin asks Wyatt if he is still at home, and Wyatt says, "Yes, I am." Then he threatens to stop by. Wyatt says, "I'll be waiting for you, Toots," and hangs up. After the phone call, Justin grills Jeffrey about him and Wyatt. Since Wyatt calls so many times, he assumes that they are together. Jeffrey tells him multiple times that he is not my lover, he is just my friend, and he's only lying to get under your skin. As I said before, he's doing this just to get under his skin. And Jeffrey tells him repeatedly that he's just a friend and that he wants him to stop these questions and stop this behavior. Justin questions him about his love for Wyatt, but Jeffrey says that they are just friends. Then Justin questions him about the emails on his phone. One email says that he loves Wyatt and that he only wants what's best for him. Jeffrey says, "Yes, I wrote this. He is my friend and I want what's best for him." Then Justin reads another email saying that Jeffrey, is still in love with him and still wants him. Jeffrey says that those emails are private and that he sent them to himself as a journal. Justin is completely shocked and in disbelief. He confesses that he's been looking for an apartment for them. An apartment. Like they're supposed to move in together and live together. Ugh, Justin is crazy. I mean, this is ridiculous. I can understand a person being jealous hearted, but he's just taking this too far. This is ridiculous. Jeffrey reminds him that, hey, I'm in prison right now, but Justin believes that he will get out one day. Jeffrey has had enough of all of this and he just wants to leave and go back to his cell. He tells Justin if he doesn't stop this and let him go back to his cell, he's going to pound on the door. Jeffrey goes for the door and Justin puts him in a headlock, saying that you played me for a fool, ranting and raving like a lunatic. And that is where the episode ends. Oh, what an episode this was. Oh, completely and totally unruly. Thank you all so much for watching my video. If you like my video, make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I will be back next week with the next episode. The next episode is called Errand Boy, and it looks really good from the previews. I'm very interested in what's going to happen next week. My MVP of the night is Hanna for confessing, her terrible dark secret. I'm glad that she said something about this. She needed to say something about that. So for that, I've named Hanna my MVP. Thank you all so much for watching my video and come back next week for the next installment of the haves and the have-nots. Enjoy your life as I do and have a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you so much.